floats back to you. Loveboat. Soon we'll be making another run.
Welcome back to Retro Wednesday. It's Titanium Hanger. This is Mike, and today we're going to talk about Mego Loveboat, and this is the entire toy line, complete set of carded figures, complete set of loose figures, and the playset. I don't even know if the playset's complete or not. It's got stuff with it, but this is a strange toy line. There are some very strange anomalies. It's a boys toy line, action figure toy line of 3.75 inch action figures. But it's a more or less a dollhouse of a playset that I believe was marketed to girls. So this is really a very unique, a very strange toy line. But we're going to get into talking about it and discussing the pluses and minuses and the variants. I didn't really think it was that popular enough to have variants. We'll talk about this and more coming up. Alright, so taking a look at the TV show, I think the TV show was a big phenomenon back in the day. I remember it being on TV, but me personally never watching it or enjoying it. Truly, it was above my head. This is another one of the toy lines that really was, the media didn't target kids, and yet they still made toys for it. So it was kind of weird, and so maybe that's a third anomaly with this toy line. But the show itself was one of those weekly 1 hour kind of TV shows that would have a guest star on it, and like David Hasselhoff or Michael J. Fox or whoever was a big star back in the day would show up on it in some sort of part. But overall, it was a cruise ship and anything goes, you know what I mean? But it's kind of fun, but still ultra cheesy. I enjoyed watching a couple episodes. Probably won't binge the rest of it. So I'm going to start with Isaac, the most popular character. We're going to get into talking about that, but all the cards are the same, except it has a different name in the white space there, and all the card backs are the same. It's just, it shows all the characters and stuff. Makes it easy for me to just have a checklist of all 6 that we need, and there it is. So this one here, Isaac, he is the bartender, and there are 2 versions, and we'll get into that. And people chase this one down. They don't care about the rest of the toy line at all. They just chase this one down to put in a bar scene, to maybe put in your cantina, maybe just put into a bar, or just to have them as maybe the favorite character of the show. And I think that really is just the favorite character of the show. But with that, this one is the most expensive, the hardest to get. And my advice, and I'll just go right off the bat, my advice is to just track down a sealed set of figures that includes all of them, because that's the cheapest way to go to collect this. Even if you want a loose set, there's enough sealed sets out there that you can open them. And when we get into the ones with the hats, then you'll see kind of what I'm talking about, why. But here he is. Now, the first one here has no eyes printed on him, and he has no bend at the knee. So, yeah, as a figure, he's more like a Star Wars figure with a 5 points of articulation with the head, the arms, and the hips. But it shows him with his red. Now, he didn't always wear red. Sometimes he did have the white, but it's nice that they made the figure stand out. So it's not just a whole bunch of them wearing a white jacket. That red jacket's kind of nice. Now, the other one here was more of an upgrade. So they did an upgrade variant. You can see that, let me see this one. He has his teeth painted also, and his eyes painted. So he's got 2 more paint hits right there. Both of them have, I think both of them have their buttons painted. No buttons painted on this one. Buttons painted on that one. So they chose different paint apps. But the big deal is the bendable knees. And with Mego, I don't know if I'm going to break them bending them, but bendable knees. So that makes it a 7-point articulation figure. And I don't think that there's any price variance between these 2, or I don't think there's any more sought after to get bending knees. But it just is a thing, and we're going to see it on more of these other figures down the road. Isaac, the most popular of these figures by far, by like 10 times. Okay, so there are more or less 2 females in this toy line. There's the Vicky and the Julie figure. Vicky is the younger one, and I guess she just works there. I don't know anything, I just work here. But this is a pretty interesting figure. Now, I gotta say, the females seem to be the least sought after. probably because there's not much to get with them. I mean, they come with everything. This is a complete figure right here. She has no accessories or anything like that. But there are 2 versions of her, maybe even a third. There is the kind of rubbery skirt, then there's a cloth skirt, and then there's one with bending knees that I hear, but I don't see any bending knees ones. But then again, can you see them under the skirts? I think the ones with the cloth skirts might have bending knees on them. That might just be a thing. But still, the packaging's the same as Isaac's, just different name, Vicky. And they went as cheap as they could on this toy line because they bet the farm on it, and they probably lost the farm on it. But maybe they did better with this than Black Hole. I don't know. I don't really know. But let's see if we can get her to stand again. Anyhow, she's a short figure. She is shorter than the Julie figure. And it's just nice to have a handful of female figures. Now, to populate the playset, I would think that you would want some extra Julies and Vickies to have some females just here and there, just random females, not so much the name of the figure. But with that, I might pick some more up down the road. I just didn't really go after them that much. But the cloth ones are hard to find, loose and in good shape. We're going to see. I have one cloth one we're going to see, but it's sealed, so it's not going to be dirty. But I always see them just dirty stains, and I don't really know if that's going to come clean or anything. So the downside to collecting these loose, again, I say buy them sealed if you're interested in this, even if you want to open them. I've seen them go for under 200, like 6 or 7 sets in the past year. Now we're going to get into talking about Julie, and I just want to say that leaving the Vicky figure here, the short one, just to show height difference, and you can see how much shorter she is. I think she's like a teenager or something versus a fully grown adult here, which is Julie. Now, I didn't, let's see, I don't see any paint apps on her. Yeah, I can see the eyes now. And she has, yeah, they both have eyes. So she comes with this. This is an extra piece right here. I guess, nope, the whole top is just formed that way. That's just interesting how they do the jacket. And yeah, that's kind of cool. Very 70s kind of style of clothing. And this loose one has a rubbery skirt, no bending knees on her. She has, okay, so another difference is she has just like some shoes on. She has boots. So Julie is the one that books everyone. She's always talking about in the show, I booked your cruise or whatever. I remember booking you. And she would sort of be one that would introduce the new character of the week, or 4 or 5 different characters, because she's the one that booked them. So she had a little bit of background knowledge on them. That's the way it feels in the couple episodes I watched. Now notice that the one in the card, the sealed one, actually has a cloth skirt, and I kind of prefer the look of the kind of vinyl rubbery one because it just looks correct. But on the other hand, this does look kind of real, and it's very, okay, I shouldn't even, sheer? Is it sheer? Like almost from a distance, it almost looks like, yeah, you can kind of make out the figure underneath, which I don't know if that's good or it's bad. And even in, it looks like she's got like a mark on her chest, even in a sealed figure, like a QC issue on paint scratching in a sealed figure. And guess what? Look at that. You can see she does have bendable knees. So I guess all the cloth ones have been, I don't know. I don't have a loose cloth one, so I'm probably not going to ever get one unless I find one cheap. But there is the Julie figure. It's kind of interesting, and to help populate the playset. Next up, we've got a Captain Stubing, and this is where you start getting into some challenges in collecting this toy line with the infamous removable hat. Oh my gosh, that's what makes, again, I said, buy a full set for about $200 or so. Full set sealed, and that way you get all the hats. As you can see, it's just kind of laying in there, but here's his hat. Now I guess the reason is because sometimes he's on the show without his hat, sometimes he has his hat, and I would say if I'm going to go for just loose, I would definitely try to get the bending knees. I think that's a later upgrade, and they get eyes on them, paint apps and stuff. We'll see when we do comparisons here in a bit, but still pretty cool Captain figure. I really feel like going forward, the next 3 figures are just the same figure, except different names, different head sculpts, and that's it, really. Just different head and a different name. So they cheaped out. I mean, you know, Mego's going to cheap out. And it's not just a Mego thing. Kenner did the same thing. They tried to cheap out every way they could. But yeah, the next 3 figures are pretty much the same figure with different heads. Captain Stubing. All right, so we're going to go for the Gopher figure. Here's the thing about this. This is when it gets into collecting. Do you want the first run? Do you want the second run? Like G.I. Joe collectors. Straight arm Joes go for a lot more. People want the first edition, first run. Even though it's the same figure put back out with better articulation with a swivel, they want the first run. So I would assume that the first run straight legs might be worth more. I don't know. Is there such thing as Loveboat collector circles? I have no idea. Is there a Loveboat collecting Facebook page? Probably. But straight leg doesn't have eyes painted on. It's kind of creepy. Bending knees, which I had trouble getting his legs back after. I had him sitting down. He's going to go back to sitting down, but he has eyes painted and bending knees. So it's one of those improvements, and my carded one's got bending knees too. So I got a second later edition. So I'm not sure. And does that go to carded? Like, oh, I gotta have the non-bending knees one. I don't know. Is it the same as Joe, or is it just I'll just get whatever when it comes to collecting? That was my mentality was I get whatever I can get as cheap as I can get. That's kind of how I've collected this line. But it's kind of fun to have a couple variants and to be able to showcase him for you. Let's see what he looks like with his hat off. So he actually has some hair up there, other than Captain Stubing was bald, so that's what it is. He looks like he needs a haircut. Dude, you need a haircut. You go back to the 70s. Oh, he was in the 70s. Okay. All right. It's a 1981 toy line, but I think the show started in the 70s. Anyway, there we go with the Gopher. Darn it, Jim. I'm a doctor, not someone to give love advice. Captain Kirk. Anyway, this is Doc, and so this one here kind of bucks the trend of everything I've been saying, in a way, but not really, in a way. So I've got the carded one is straight-legged, so it's just like a random hodgepodge. Here's the bending knee one, but he doesn't have any of his dots painted on. I don't know if that's just wear and tear from kids just playing with them so much because they were so much fun. But as you see with this, they both versions have the glasses painted, which is really weird. And the glasses are painted more blue on this one and more gray on this one. So I don't actually notice any difference in the hats. But then again, you lose stuff. I have no idea if those were the original hats, but they all look exactly the same on the hats. I don't think they made a running change on the hats. But Doc figure, again, same body, same everything as we saw with the other figures, except different head. This one's got glasses. Not really much more to say at this point. I think we've said it all. So now let's look at the infamous playset. So the way I go at this might bother people because it's going to be shaky cam, handheld. I'm going to do the best I can here. But so first off, we got the bar. I didn't put anything in here. You can put a table in here if you want. You can put all kinds of stuff in here if you want. I put Isaac and a TV and a table back there. But you could do more with it. I'm literally going to have to move it. It's in my review space, so I just threw stuff up here to make it work. Now over here, we got kind of like I think this is the captain's lounge. I do. So I put in some like super ugly orange 80s chairs, and he's got a coffee table, put his feet up. Now these are the straight leg editions, so they're both chilling in here, straight legging it. You got this map, world map, and I could point the propaganda out on that map if you want me to, but here is some great stuff going on. And getting down here over here, got a bedroom. Looks like a female's bedroom and small door there. And then I put the Vicky, the smaller one on that bed. Here we go here with another one, and he's taking a nap. And you got like little lamp, and that's a 2-piece lamp. You kind of put the shade on top of that smaller back metal piece, but it's wearing. And then you have stuff like furniture. It's a dollhouse. I don't know how many little girls loved having this dollhouse. You could have put anything in there, but I mean, the girls had Barbies, so you had to have 3.75-inch action figures, or maybe 6-inch at the most, to put in here. And you could, of course, put Joes and stuff in here. This looks like just a kitchen, so I set it up like the kitchen. That's the way it looked to me. Then over here is just another room. So I just threw stuff in here with Vicky. And cool that you've got this vanity. And then I think the way the stickers work, you just kind of match up to the wall, you know, what the stickers are. Now, the thing itself is blow molded. Is kind of, it's a lot like the Buck Rogers playset. Let me show that real quick. It's made with the same material as the Buck Rogers playset. And very fragile, but the Buck Rogers playset's smaller and just kind of easier to handle. That thing is made in 2 pieces, so it's easier to fix up a Buck Rogers playset than it is to fix up that thing. So, man, that ship is tough to keep from getting cracked and broken. And this was tough too. I hope you enjoyed this look at the Mego Loveboat. And yeah, the show, it was alright. It was interesting to watch a couple episodes from back in the day, but probably not something I'm going to watch the entire series. I'm not binging it or anything. But this toy line is kind of cool action figures, and for the fact that most people want that Isaac figure in their collection, in their bars, because it's a cool figure to have. So the playset itself it's kind of a fun novelty to own, but very fragile and very easily broken and very hard to actually display. But if you get it and you set it up, it can look really nice, as you can see right here. But let me know what you think about this toy line. Did you know it existed? Did you have any of this back in the day? And is it something that you actively collect? And did any of these tips help? Like, subscribe. Teddy Banger out.
He's got a younger brother just like him.
2 losers in one family wouldn't be fair.
Oh, Brian.
Are you the captain?
No, I'm sorry. I'm the ship's doctor.
I don't need a...
Yes, sir, Mr. Clark. Pina colada, a specialty of Isaac, your singing bartender.
Where's Laura?
I'm playing it solo again, Julie. Laura and I split up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Of course.
Oh, it's nothing.
Well, if you'll both excuse me,
I knew it.
Second time around and the same question.